Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go three abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them for a rep. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. And we are so glad that you have chosen to spend a little time with us and join us. Steve Post here flying solo. And as a matter of fact, we're going to change things up a little bit over the next few weeks. We're going to play some best of interviews over the next couple of weeks because, well, we're all on lockdown and all being quarantined and practicing our social distancing skills. So we have some great stuff for you coming up over the next couple of weeks. And, of course, we'll be active on all our social media channels along the way. So let's keep talking. Let's keep talking sprint car racing. Soon enough, it'll be back, and we'll be all excited. And speaking of exciting moments, that's what we're going to talk about on this week's show. We're going to look back at two moments last year that really jumped off the radar screen to us. Brad Sweet picking up his career first World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Championships. We chatted with Brad soon after being crowned the champion. We'll share that interview with you. And how about David Gravel picking up the Knoxville Nationals win, the NOS Energy Drinks Knoxville Nationals win? We'll share our conversation with you with David as well after that largest win in his career. So big moments last year, and we're going to share them on this week's edition of Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. One of the other things we're going to do is we're going to continue with our Drydene Diesel All Death-Defying Move of the week. And how about this? Rico Abreu. We know that Rico is so big with his shoprico.com site, and he wants to make sure that you get what you ordered. So in this week's Drydene Diesel All Death-Defying Move of the week, Rico shares with us how he makes sure you get your delivery.
And now for the Drydene Death-Defying Move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves. That death-defying move was brought to you by Drydene Diesel All Death, the official DEF of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Drydene.com for more information.
It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. Brad Sweet. What a year he put together last season, tugging on Superman's cape, if you will, and winning the World of Outlaw Championship. After he won that crown, we had the chance to catch up with him. Let's see if we get this right. The 2019 World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Champion, Brad Sweet, the big cat. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing great. That has a nice ring to it. It makes me smile every time I hear it.
I bet it does. I bet it does. Really, really neat. Brad, the process Saturday night with that finale going toe-to-toe with Donnie, just walk us through the way the race, the way everything unfolded for you on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, we came into Saturday, obviously, just, in my mind, basically tied.
Yep.
Kind of just made up my mind that we had to win the race pretty much or, be real close. And, I was pretty calm about it all, to be honest, surprisingly. Just felt like we needed to do our job. I knew we needed to have a little luck on our side, and we got a good dash draw. That obviously helped. And then felt pretty good in the dash, had a good starting spot. And it was basically once you get in the car and, do the 4 wide, it's 30 laps, just like any other night. We go out and leave it on the line and obviously try to win the race. So basically just, went out there and ran as hard as I possibly could for all 30 laps. And, David was just a little better than us. Otherwise, I thought we were, pretty close to maybe being able to get a win there. But luckily enough for us, we were able to keep Donnie behind us. And it was just a great feeling, to go in there and actually, I kind of joked before and said if I was an odds maker, I definitely would say at this point, we were the underdog. So it was nice for us to get over that hurdle and put our names in the record books. Yep.
Brad, during that race Saturday night, obviously Donnie threw a slider there and got by you real quick, and you were able to get back by him right away. But I know it all happens so quickly and it unfolds so fast, but are you processing what's happening, or is it just a car to you, or did you realize it was Donnie? What kind of goes through your thought process with that?
Well, you definitely realize it's Donnie, and I'm used to seeing him a lot throughout the season, so it's no surprise. I obviously know he's coming to the front, and there's only so much you can do. It's all happening so quick, like you said. It's not it's not like I'm able to say like, oh, he passed me, I better go faster. I'm already going as fast as I can, and he is too. And luckily, I just was trying to move around on the racetrack and allowed him to get a run on me, and he drove by me, and then he went to go to the bottom and actually slipped up just a little off of turn 4. And I was able to kind of hit the bottom and come off and actually pass him back and move to the top in 1 and 2 and kind of found that line. I felt really good about that line, and I knew gravel had pulled away. I was in second, third, so I felt really good about where we were. But you just never know, come around that corner and then Danny Dietrich's sitting there with a broken axle. So, I was honestly just going just like I do at any other big race, 110% as hard as I could the whole race, and was the longest last 10 laps I think I've ever felt.
I am sure the Dietrich moment, the whole place, the whole joint, there were 20,000 people there gasped at that moment, and we can't imagine what you were going through. I want to go a little earlier, though, on that. You race from February to November. You get to the spot where, you're right, I said the same way, you're pretty much even up with Donnie. You get ready to start the final feature, and we can't get that race started to save our butts, okay? You got a red flag, you have one good restart, you have other ones are decent, but you have one where you nailed it. What was getting that race started like, knowing there was so much on the line?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I'm sure just the same feeling that everybody had. It's like going to a really good movie and you got to watch 20 previews before you just want to get there and get it going. And yeah, it was frustrating. I just, like you said, I got one good one and one bad one, and then one good one, and you just never know which one's going to be the right start. And, those starts are important. You don't want to fall back or lose any track position, especially in the position we were in. So just tried to keep my composure like any other night and make sure that I got the best start I possibly could, and obviously just run the race the best I could from that point.
Sure.
And you talk about that February to November. We know it's 90-some races a year. We know it's physically tough up and down the road every single day. The grind is incredible, what you guys go through. But being in the position that you were in this year, coming down to the last lap, how much is there a mental ease for you now?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing, honestly. It's such a relief, and I can finally just take a breath. I can enjoy some time with my family and just other things that you neglect when you get so involved in a points battle and and trying to win races. It's just these summers and trying to be a champion. It's just a lot goes into it all. And honestly, it's amazing to me that Donnie's been able to win 10 of these. I feel like I had to put so much time and energy and everything into making it happen. And so it's just it's a huge relief. It feels great. Just we all can't stop smiling, and I'm so happy my wife and daughter are here, and just get to spend a little time with her. These last few weeks I've been kind of staying out in Charlotte and trying to we've been testing a couple times and trying to get our car a little better to make sure that we were gonna basically have as good a shot as we possibly could, to win the championship. So yeah, it's a great feeling. I can't describe it, but I'm sure there's been others that feel it, but it's unbelievable.
You have spent your entire World of Outlaw career chasing that 15 car. That's just the truth. It's not what, and you even talked about it in your banquet speech on Sunday night, what Donnie has done in the bar and the raising of the bar. A two-parter. When did you realize this season that, hey, we're going toe-to-toe with the champ, this guy we've chased our whole life, and what's the level of satisfaction now that you have achieved what really very few people in the sprint car world have ever achieved?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you want to believe that you can beat him, and year after year chase him. Obviously, the first few years it seemed, so far-fetched, but there was something, after last year winning Knoxville and, the season that we had last year, I felt like we kind of had enough speed. We were starting to kind of figure it out, what it takes to have that consistency and win the big races. And honestly, after last year's banquet, I went home and, set my gym up in the garage, and I have a whiteboard, and I wrote 2019 World of Outlaw Champion on it. And, that's what I stared at for motivation. And it's honestly what motivated me. That was the goal this year, was to, obviously win the big races, but we really wanted to try to, give Donnie a real run for his money this year. And, it's no secret that he didn't really have as good a year as he normally does. So obviously we know if we're gonna stay on top, we're gonna have to, even and raise the bar to another level. It's he's gonna want that championship back, and we don't want to give it back, and feel like we're just still getting better. Me and Eric and the whole Napa Auto Parts car. It's only our second year together, so we feel like we're gaining momentum, and hopefully we can stay on top.
No doubt. And it's enjoyable to watch you in victory lane when you celebrate, especially those big ones like the Knoxville Nationals last year, the Kings Royal this year. But I've got to ask you, so at first I thought you were doing the chicken dance with the hand flap things, not going to lie. And I was like, wait a second. And then I caught into the loop that it's after a bull rider, Lane Frost. What is that all about, and what's your dedication to him, and where did that all just start?
Yeah, I mean, I just, as a kid, watched the movie about Lane Frost, and felt like he just, I just became a fan of his, and he was basically a bull rider that was probably the greatest bull rider of all time, at least of his time there, and was killed kind of in his prime, and that was his wave that he would do after he had a good ride, and I just thought, you're always kind of looking for something to do as a tribute. It's kind of my way of, honoring all the people that have, I have a lot of close friends that unfortunately, been injured or we've lost them in race cars, and it's kind of a tribute, to them, and it's just, something that I do, and I know people didn't really understand it. Hopefully more people will start to kind of understand. It's just my little quirky celebration, but it's to honor Lane, it's to honor, all the champions and winners that we lost in their prime, doing what they love, and it's just kind of my thing I do now.
I was not aware of that. That is great. I really do. I appreciate that. That is really, really neat. Great stuff for sure. Brad, when I look at where you're at, I think probably some of my first encounters for you is you were a young kid trying to go NASCAR racing, and you had that dance 6 or 7 years ago with the NASCAR world, and I look at your life, and you're a young single guy trying to climb the NASCAR ladder. Here you are, still young, married guy with a daughter, World of Outlaw champion. Do you ever just look at life and say, wow, there was some turns here I didn't see, but then the satisfaction I'm sure this brings you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you kind of nailed it all there. Yeah, it's there's no secret. It's been a grind for me. It's never, nothing's really ever come super easy. I've always felt like I had to work at it, and the NASCAR deal just didn't work out for me. And so when I went back to sprint cars, it definitely felt like I was taking a step backwards, or maybe not doing exactly, like I didn't accomplish what I was trying to accomplish. And it took a year or two to realize that I was much happier driving sprint cars. I can still make a great living. I can contend for championships and wins. And it's so hard to get to that spot, in NASCAR. And, I don't think I would ever, got to that spot. So I'm much happier. Obviously, things happen for a reason. And here I am now able to kind of put my name, in the history books and in the record books and, have a potential to win multiple championships, multiple races, big races. And, just feel like this is my home. I found my home and, get to make a great living and support my family. And couldn't be happier.
Great stuff. It really, truly is. And you are the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Champion. Brad, we appreciate the time joining us today. And really throughout the year, you're always, come on to the stage shows, and we always have fun in front of a live audience, and we do appreciate that. We wish you a great off season with the family. Any big plans, or just in the sprint car world, some of the big plans are not going anywhere? Any big plans?
Yeah, this first couple weeks here, we're going to take our daughter to Disneyland for her first ever trip to Disneyland, so we're excited about that. And then just a lot of relaxing and hanging out, but we're going to go to Australia and do a little racing down under, because we can't sit still for more than a couple weeks, and we got to go do something. So yeah, we'll look forward to just kind of enjoying the moment here. These are great moments and great memories created, so I'm just going to try to take it all in and enjoy it.
Absolutely. We'll do that. Thanks for the time. Enjoy your downtime, and won't be long. I think what they said, 80 some days we'll see you in Volusia. Yeah. So yes, exactly. 80 some days we'll see you in Volusia. So there you go. Thanks for the time, Brad.
Okay, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys very much.
Wow, absolutely amazing. And Brad Sweet certainly looks tough this year as he rolled out of the box very quickly, winning the big gator down at Volusia. And we'll see once we get back racing how he defends his crown. Stay with us. When we return, David Gravel after his big Knoxville Nationals win.
Hey, Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honey Crisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey.
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy. Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. We're kind of flashing back to some great moments back in 2019, and in just a second, we're going to share a David Gravel interview with you after that Knoxville Nationals win. Whenever we think of Knoxville, we think of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, located right there, turn number 2 on the famed Marion County Fairgrounds. And on this day, March 24th, would have been the birthday of Russ Clendenin, a 1996 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Russ was born in 2008. He was a racing mechanic. If you can imagine what that must have been like, a ride-along racing mechanic before World War II. After the war, he was an official with the American Auto Club and then with USAC. He officiated more than 1,500 races, passed away in 2002 at 94 years of age. What a life well lived by Russ Clendenin, and he is enshrined at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum right off from turn number 2 at the Knoxville Raceway. And as we sat in the Sprint Car Hall of Fame and elsewhere around the Knoxville Raceway last year, we got to take in David Gravel, driving that Exalta Toyota to the win at the Knoxville Nationals. Remember the scene, David Gravel, Jeff Gordon, looking at a partnership that, as we've learned since, has taken us forward. And when it was all done, we had the chance to chat with David Gravel, fresh off from his Knoxville victory. The driver that got the most coveted prize in sprint car racing here in 2019, David Gravel, is on the hotline. Hello, David. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Thank you guys for having me.
What has life been like since about 10:30 on Saturday night, David?
My phone is smoking hot still. Texting calls like crazy. Messages on Facebook I haven't caught up to yet, but I'm not complaining at all.
No.
David, talk about the actual race. It seemed at the very beginning of the race, 50 laps, you kind of just held pace for a little bit, and then at some point you took off. You said you made a little bit of adjustments on the red flag, but kind of take us through the race.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I actually wanted to get in the second or possibly the lead off get-go, but I got a bad start, and Joey was rolling really good early. And, from there, I seen guys run the top and bottom right in front of me, and I kind of just paid attention and seen who was faster where and what corner, and was able to choose the line that I thought was the best, and that was the bottom of 1 and 2 and top of 3 and 4. So it was actually, I wouldn't say an advantage, but I knew if I fell back any more in the race, it would be a problem for me to try to contend for that win. So luckily I was able to stay in the third and make my moves when I thought I had to, and we were still able to put ourselves in position in the lead before the break, which I thought was big.
Last year when we left Knoxville, the entire conversation, led by Brad Sweet, the winner of the race, was running the bottom, working the bottom. Yet this year, while that was important, there was a top. You just said you ran the top down in 3 and 4 in the middle. How different was the track? Was the track different? Are the cars different? What was different about it this year?
Well, the Outlaw shows are completely different than what the Capitani was and the prelim night.
Mm-hmm.
I had to run the bottom all week, really. And then Saturday night, the bottom I thought was the best groove in 1 and 2, so that was similar. But 3 and 4 was really, really thin on the bottom on exit, and there was a lot of grip on the exit of 4. So it was really risky to run the bottom in 3 and 4 because if you missed it, you would have been a sitting duck off 4, and a guy 5, 6, 7 car lengths back would be able to get a run on you, running the top. So it was one of those things, risk versus reward, and just try to keep laps rolling and try to not make those big mistakes. Knoxville's a place, if you keep your momentum rolling and don't really make any big mistakes, you'll be all right, because for whatever reason, Knoxville's a place, if you mess up, you're losing a half a second to a second in a blink of an eye.
For sure. David, you've represented a lot of wonderful sponsors throughout the years, but what is it like to have a company like a huge corporation like Axalta come on board, and then also that relationship with Jeff Gordon that you've developed?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's been a fast-growing relationship with Jeff, meeting him at Chili Bowl. I never talked to him in my whole life before then, and for him to see something in me and for me to be able to call him my friend is awesome, and for him to stick his neck out with Axalta, he's heavily involved with Axalta, and for it all to work out, it is great. You saw that picture of me in an old replica Jeff Gordon car when I was a little kid in the DuPont colors and stuff, and it's just been very cool. It's one of those things you dream about, and our week couldn't have gone any better, and Jeff was able to stay the whole week. I don't think he stayed the whole week ever in his life, so for him to be there the whole week and see everything happen was just great.
We talk about the relationship with Jeff and Axalta. Aaron and I kind of started the show, and we're going to talk to Phil on our podcast a little bit later on. But taking Bobby and Phil and Jax, knowing what they've been through, over the last couple of years, what did that mean to you to be able to be part of a team that brought so much joy to some people that have had some times where there wasn't joy at all in their world?
Yeah, for sure. Philip and Bobby, decided they wanted to keep the team going. They could easily fold it up, and Phil could have went and used his engineering degree. Bobby could have went and did whatever she wanted. So for them to keep it going, now they know that it was the right choice, or it was all worth it for them to keep this deal going again. So, they're the ones that put their hearts and souls in it. I'm the race car driver. I'm the driver. They have a lot of hours and keeping sponsors happy, and sponsors had to step up to keep this deal going. And luckily, I was able to bring a couple sponsors along the way, and it just all worked out. So, I guess certain things are meant to be, and Jack so loves standing up on that wing. He loves the spotlight, and I'm happy to give him those special moments that hopefully he'll never forget.
That's great stuff. I love that picture, you kissing him on the head. It's one of the best pictures, I think, from Knoxville. David, in Victory Lane, you said something like you weren't tired at all during the 50 laps, but as soon as the checkered fell, you felt like you had boulders on your shoulders. You almost seemed a little bit numb in Victory Lane. Talk about the physical aspect and what it felt like just getting out of that car.
Well, in years past, I am flat wore out after the A-main at the Knoxville Nationals, but I think the more I race, the more calm and relaxed I get in the car. I think you could just really psych yourself out or just try too hard and kind of get yourself in a bad spot, maybe wear out your tires or wear out yourself. And luckily my car was good enough to roll through the cushion in 3 and 4 where I didn't really have to saw at the wheel very much. And that was just huge for me because, I feel Donnie Schatz is kind of in the same boat. When he's got to turn it up, he usually has another gear. And I think that's what separates him from winning all those big races. He's really good at taking care of his stuff, and when he needs to step it up, he can. So I was numb in Victory Lane. I'm still a little numb. It's becoming more real every day. Definitely get more emotion every day. Just one of those things, for whatever reason, our race wasn't that exciting. The last couple races came down to a car length, and I think that would added to the excitement factor. But to have nobody really challenge you at the end of the race, it was like, how is this real? How is this possible? That I figured somebody would be breathing down my neck. A couple of those lap cars scared me, and just was able to get the job done. So I was numb. I had upset stomach. I had heartburn. I was hungry. I wanted a cocktail, and I didn't get to have any of those, so I had to wait till a little bit later. But it was something I won't forget.
I can only imagine. David, final question for you here. We've talked about Bobby. We've talked about Jeff Gordon and Exalta. Your family and your mom's tweet on Sunday, thanking Jeff Gordon for making your dreams come true. What was that like with your family who has ridden this journey from the sprint car capital state of the world? Connecticut. Yeah, we started joking about the sprint car hotbed in Connecticut.
You never know, us New Englanders.
That's right. But what did it mean? What did it mean to see your family that has put so much into this effort as well in Victory Lane?
Oh, for sure. I first started selling T-shirts out of Lance Deweese's mom's trailer at Knoxville, and then we split half the spot with Patty Hodenshield, and we had a fold-up table and hung some shirts on the side of the table. And then, we got our own T-shirt van and moved over to the church, and, then had a trailer with CJB, and my family was the one always working it every single day, every hour of the week. And they woke up early while I got to sleep in, and, they've always been my best supporters. They care so much. Definitely racing is an extremely huge part of their life. It's probably their biggest part of their life. And happy they've been coming to every national since I've been going. And I'm happy my fiance Jill was there and was able to share that moment with everybody. And they all always sit and see double X on the backstretch every year. So my dad was super pumped. He got a little physical in Victory Lane, roughhousing people. Kyle Larson texted me. My dad punched him in the arm because he was so pumped. So he was definitely super, super excited. Just happy he didn't keel over there and his heart his heart didn't stop. His heart kept kicking.
That is great. Kyle's used to it because didn't Chip Ganassi just swat when Kyle won won one of the Cup races?
Michigan
Chip gave him a swat. So poor Kyle goes to Victory Lane and gets the snot kicked out of him. Man, it don't matter. It don't matter if he wins or if he's visiting someone else there. Pretty cool stuff, David. Congratulations. We are so happy for you, so proud of you, and the way you handle everything and the way you do everything and the way you wheel that race car. Congratulations, and savor this moment, and we wish you the best now as the season picks back up this weekend again.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
David Gravel, as excited as I am about what happened to him last year, I'm equally excited to see where he ends up with his journey into NASCAR racing. So stay tuned. David Gravel, one of our guys, representing sprint car racing very, very well. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Sir, are you aware you were going 40 miles an hour? This is a residential area.
Sure, but I'm on my lawnmower? Wait, am I getting a ticket?
No, I've just never seen anyone top 9 miles an hour on one of those bad boys. And mow their entire lawn in 30 seconds? What got into you?
Well, it did fuel up at Sunoco this morning.
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
We are so glad you joined us for Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, as we look back at some of the great moments last year with Brad Sweet winning the World of Outlaw Championship and David Gravel winning the Knoxville Nationals. Great to look back, and, well, the way things are right now, that's about the best we have with it, with our social distancing as we work through, as a country, this crisis, and with sprint car racing. We encourage you to follow along with whatever the orders are, whatever the rules are in your state, and let's make sure that we all take care of ourselves and take each other so we can beat this thing as quick as possible and get back to sprint car racing. And we're itching to get back to sprint car racing. Can't wait for that to happen. So the sooner we all cooperate and get this thing out of our system, the sooner off we are. Wing Nation apparel is available at wingnation.com. And once we get back racing, it will be available on the All-Star Circuit of Champions trailers. If you are looking for things to do, man, check out our YouTube page. And we're going to be active on social media with our Facebook and on our Twitter account. We have some really good things planned during this down period of time. Also good and planned is this Thursday's podcast. Ashley Stremme, she sits down with dirt track preparation guru Steve Steimle from up at Port Royal Speedway. You're going to want to make sure you catch that on Thursday when our podcast drops. And coming up on this Saturday, we have a fresh visit with Kyle Larson after all that he has going on with his world. That's on our MAV TV show. So make sure you catch us there as well, 7:30 and 10:30 a.m. on MAV TV. Hey, we appreciate you taking some time out and joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires.
Wing Nation has been brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Watch Wing Nation Saturday mornings on MAV TV. You can also find Wing Nation on wingnation.com or your favorite podcast provider. Wing Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.